Okay, now this isn't going to be your typical passport bro video. Matter of fact, this isn't a passport bro video at all. This is just a video to make the case that it may interest you to apply for your passport, because this isn't just a door to a different cultures of women. This is a door to other places, other worlds, other environments that you can benefit from if you're looking in the right places. And you have the right aims and goals in the process. Now, let's just start with this. There's going to be those that are going to say, well, I have a criminal record, so I can't get a passport. To be honest, having a criminal record is not going to necessarily bar you from getting a passport. There are plenty of people who have criminal records that have passports. They serve their sentence. Once you've served your sentence, unless you're a registered sex offender, which therefore you never, that's a lifetime sentence basically, so whether you're in jail or not, so you can never get a passport in a case like that. But there are people who literally have murder convictions on the record and they have passports. So don't assume because you have a criminal record that you're necessarily barred from getting a passport, because there's more people probably eligible for passports than they even realize. Now, there are a lot of opportunities, particularly for black men, not to say for any men, but I think it'd behoove black men to think in terms of, broadening their horizons and, swimming uncharted territories here. I mean, look, there's a lot of different relationships you can create, get network, you do a lot of different things if you get your passport. You can travel for business, you can go on vacation, if you want to go look at women, obviously that's always a thing, but at the end of the day, you gotta have some money to travel anyway. But if you plan some trips and save your money and decide you want to do trips because you think there's going to be a lot of benefit for you, plan. Plan your future. Look to do some things. Don't think that all of your future is dependent and contingent on the United States. That's absolutely false. For all the patriotic talk you hear, people do international business. The United States does international business. And these multinational corporations, these oligarchs, people that pretty much bought the government, they trade internationally as well. So you'd be the only fool to think that you're sitting here saying, okay, you know what, I don't want to trade, I don't want to travel because it's all the same where you go. Well, you're missing the point. There are opportunities in some places where there may not be in others. But it's just like a liar, you got to be in it to win it. And there's a lot of us that are not in it to win it. There's a lot of us that are, don't know anything further than the tip of our nose, or the town that we grew up in, or the city that we, grew up in. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. You should always learn some other things. Even if you find what you have is all that you need, it still is going to help you appreciate what you have even more when you look at the other options you may possibly have and define what the actual best option is. Right? The world is full of contacts. Okay? Contrary to what you hear, it's full of contacts. So at the end of the day, if you're looking to, look at what skills, what trade maybe you have to offer, what can you trade if you do any kind of business. You can potentially do trading. You can trade maybe with other companies. I mean, you can, internationally, you can trade in certain parts of Europe, certain parts of Africa. Trade in these other places. But you have to look at, do your research. Learn about some of the laws in those countries, Make sure that you do your research. I'm not saying just jump on a plane and say, here, get your passport and go wherever you think there's some hot women that's ready to, drop the pants for you. shouldn't be thinking that way, because if you can't even do that in the United States, save your money. That's the only reason that you want to travel. Okay? But again, with the passport bros, a lot of them are not just looking, to go hook up. They're looking to get married. They're looking to actually have relationships. So that is, I'd say, a much more noble cause. Just, to say the least. At least it's something actually of substance. But again, you can do whatever you want with your money. But just know, there's consequences for all the decisions we make, good or bad. And why spend your money to do something you can do in the United States? Although someone would argue that you got less chance of somebody falsely accusing you of something, or, well, it's another story. A lot of times that isn't as much the case when you become a public figure or you have a lot of money. Then, of course, there's a target on your back, more likely then. But anyway, you should look to get your passports, bro. I mean, you don't have to. Nobody says as soon as you get your passport, okay, let's go overseas. You don't have to do that. But get it ready. It takes a few months to get it anyway. Get your paper together. Look, if you want to do business, you can do business internationally. Hell, you might find a supplier somewhere where you can get, really good price on supplies, and you might be able to, gain bigger profits in the business you got by buying from the right supplier. Look at you. You have to look at the world from a much deeper lens than just, a new, maybe cleaner vagina. Of course, that's a clean vagina is always a good thing. But what I'm saying is, you need to look at how there's so much more around these places that you can go and what you can get out of them. It's a lot more. Expand your wings, broaden your horizon, expand your reach, especially business-wise. Give yourself some protection. You know what I mean? As I always say, try to create as many streams of income as you can. And when you do that, it makes it hard for them to stop your check. They can attack maybe one entity, and then you got 5 other ones making money. Then while you're fighting with that one, you could be creating a new one, and that new one could help, the one that's being under attack. Or you might shut that down and make money and come back with another type of business. You can get involved in other things. We definitely have to get out of this very one-dimensional thinking. We got to, because see, too often this type of thinking always seems to be recognized as part of what other groups do, except for black folks. But guess what? Black men, you need to take your life seriously, not your community's life, your own personal life seriously. Because when you can take your own personal life seriously and you can get your stuff together, then you can get other people's stuff together. Then you can help get other people's stuff. But the thing is, we do a lot of stuff backwards in this community, in this community that we got here that we call the black community. And we have to look at that. We got to take an honest lens. We can't blame outside groups for things we know that we still engage in and participate in. That's the thing. We need to expand our horizons so that way, no matter what they do as far as media, what box they will put you in, when these other people get to meet you and do business with you, they can say, well, boy, they're putting this out there. And I got totally different impression of these people than what I would see on TV. Let them see the propaganda. Expose propaganda by doing the opposite of what the propaganda is pushing, the stereotypes are pushing. Then guess what? The ones that are pushing that, the ones that are disseminating that propaganda, they got to explain themselves rather than have you try to explain that away for something that you may or may not agree with. But again, if you can get your passport, I suggest you get your passport book. Get the large book. I mean, if you don't go hell, still the same amount of money. The extra pages are free. Get your passport card too. And you don't have to but definitely get your passport, but get your passport cards too, because in that way, you can maybe travel some of the domestic international, which is more like, the Caribbeans, the Bahamas, Canada, Mexico, those, adjacent areas, part of the Americas, where you don't have to bring your book passport, but you can bring your card. And that's enough to, get you to some of those places. Because that's still a form of what, quote unquote, real ID. So yeah, get your passport, man. Passport's good for 10 years if you're an adult. I think it's good for 5 years if you're 18, something along those lines. So, go get your passport, man. I mean, really, Like, there's nothing wrong with learning another part of the world. Hey, whatever you go to those little places, you can bring back anything of benefit, whether that be material thing or just the knowledge and the experience. It also has value. So don't just sit back here and live in this little prison that your, proverbial master made for you. The door is open if you know what I mean? Look, this information age. You're only ignorant nowadays if you want to be. Doesn't matter what your family says. Guess what? You're an adult. You're you. We got to start thinking more individualistically in this community. Okay? It's shunned in a lot of ways. And the problem is, you got to look at what works and what doesn't. Don't focus on what certain skin folks are supposed to do, what other skin folks ain't supposed to. You know what you got to do is look at what works and utilize that. Bottom line. But anyway, yep, I think this is a not an extra long video, but I wanted to get this one out there because I think there's a lot of importance to get. I mean, look, there's a billionaire by the name of Robert F. Smith. I'm sure some of you heard of him. His brother I remember watching a video where he was talking about he went to 50 countries in 1 year. It comes out to be a different country every week. Within a year, a different country every week. Average. Just a hair under that. But at the end of the day, that's about a different country every week he traveled to on average for an entire year. So think about that. Now you can say he's got money. Guess what? It didn't just fall off of trees. He did the work for it. He hustled in his own way. The man's also got a PhD. But now, and again, let me just say, just because someone has a PhD doesn't mean they get to become a multi-billionaire. Okay? Being a billionaire is a rare occurrence, no matter how you look at it, okay? There's not very many people that are billionaires. There's a handful of people in the world that are billionaires. So at the end of the day, don't limit yourself. Get out of the defeatist mentality that we got going on, a lot of us. And it's been killing us for years. Because you kill your own hopes and dreams, and the other people around you just become like a cancer. The true definition of toxicity. But again, look to spread your wings. Stop, look at no matter what you do, go somewhere and learn something. Take something back from whatever you do, but don't let yourself be confined to just these borders. If you have the opportunity to travel, if you have the opportunity to do business internationally, guess what? That helps all of us in our own particular group as far as foundational Black Americans. If we look at ourselves as that and actually, engage in group economics, whether that be in the United States or even through network internationally. Guess what? That's what every other group does. We have money that goes through some of these groups 10, 20 times, 5 times. Hell, Black community, we Lucky Dog goes through and stays in the community for a minute. Okay, we put more money in other communities than probably any other group. Okay? And from what I've seen, women in general are big consumers, but Black women are the biggest consumers. Black people in general, but Black women are the biggest consumers. Okay? I mean, look at just like even some of the beauty products. A lot of other non-Black people making money off those products. So there's a lot of stuff that we have to, certain behaviors that we got to evolve or divert from, because ultimately it is dysfunctional and it's not lucrative for us as a group. But get your passport, build other relationships, not just male-female relationships, but look to build some other relationships that can help to get you in a position of wealth, a position of empowerment to be able to own and control something. That's the biggest thing that we need to do. Okay. SYSBM, and I'm out.